At 40 years old, when most footballers can barely jog without pain, Cristiano Ronaldo is still outscoring players half his age. In a sport that moves faster than ever, he refuses to slow down. When the world called him finished, he turned that doubt into fuel. He's playing in a league far from Europe's spotlight, but somehow his name still dominates the headlines. Every goal, every record, every celebration, it's a message to everyone who said his story was over. Because for Cristiano, legacy isn't something you protect, it's something you keep building even when no one believes you can. This is how a man who was supposed to fade away became eternal. It all started with silence, the kind that follows when a legend begins to fall. For nearly 20 years, Cristiano Ronaldo had defined what greatness meant. From the streets of Madeira to the bright lights of Madrid and Manchester, he had done everything the sport could possibly demand. 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions League titles, countless records, and an aura that made defenders freeze before the whistle even blew. But by 2022, something had changed. The same world that once worshipped him began to move on. The game had evolved faster, younger, more tactical, and suddenly the most disciplined athlete on earth was being called too old for modern football. His return to Manchester United was supposed to be a fairy tale, a homecoming, the perfect ending to one of football's greatest stories, but instead, it became a storm. The club was broken from the inside. Players clashed, the board had no direction, and the team that once ruled England now looked lost. And in the middle of that chaos stood Ronaldo, still scoring, still leading, still demanding the impossible. Yet no matter how much he gave, criticism kept growing. He's slowing down, he can't press, he doesn't fit modern football. It wasn't about goals anymore, it was about control, and Ronaldo was no longer in theirs.
And that's within like 2 months of you coming back. What were you feeling about what was going on at United, and what did you feel generally about the club itself and the state that the club was in compared to when you'd been there before?
Piers, to be honest, when I signed for Manchester United, I thought everything was changed because it's 13 years that I changed. I was in Real Madrid 9 years and 3 in Juventus, and when I arrived I thought everything will be different, you know, the technology, the infrastructures and everything, but I was surprised in a bad way, let's say in that way, because I saw everything was the same, and everything was so fast, but surprised me a lot. Instability in the club, everything was kind of the same that I
Hadn't moved on.
No, they stopped on the clock.
The breaking point came with one interview, one moment that sent shockwaves across the football world. Sitting face to face with Piers Morgan, Ronaldo said what millions of fans had whispered but no one inside the club dared to admit. Manchester United had lost its ambition. He didn't care about headlines or PR strategy. He spoke from frustration, from pride, from that same unfiltered fire that had made him unstoppable. But the price was heavy. Overnight, he went from legend to villain. His contract was terminated. His reputation was questioned. Cameras followed him as he left Old Trafford one last time. But there were no chants, no applause, no farewell banners, just silence. For the first time in his career, Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who had conquered every arena, stood outside the gates of world football, alone. And then came the World Cup, the stage where heroes are remembered forever. Yet even there, his fate didn't change. The unthinkable happened. He was benched, watching his team, his country, fight without him. Cameras caught his expression. Still, proud, distant. The world thought it was witnessing the end. Fans debated if he had lost it. Analysts called him a symbol of ego. Even his most loyal supporters began to wonder if time had finally beaten him. But behind that silence, there was something else, something no headline could capture. That same fire that burned inside a poor kid from Madeira, the obsession, the hunger, the refusal to accept limits. He wasn't finished. He was reloading. Everyone thought his story had ended, but Cristiano Ronaldo was already preparing to write the next chapter, one that no one saw coming. When Cristiano Ronaldo left Europe, it felt like the end. After nearly 2 decades of dominating the biggest leagues, breaking every record, and winning every trophy, the man who defined an era was suddenly walking away. The announcement hit like a thunderclap. Cristiano Ronaldo signs for Al Nassr. The world didn't know what to make of it. The media called it a retirement move. Fans said he chose money over legacy. Memes flooded the internet. Finished, washed. For the first time in his career, Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't feared. He was mocked. But what the world didn't understand was that this wasn't exile, it was evolution. Because while everyone else saw a league no one cared about, Ronaldo saw a new frontier, a blank canvas, where he could build something from scratch. He arrived in Riyadh with cameras flashing and critics laughing. Yet from the first training session, from the first goal, it was clear he didn't come to fade away. He came to conquer again. Within months, stadiums were sold out. Kids across Saudi Arabia started wearing number 7 shirts. Al Nassr's games were broadcast worldwide. Attendance skyrocketed. The entire football landscape of the Middle East began to shift. And at the center of it all stood Cristiano Ronaldo, smiling, celebrating, proving that greatness doesn't need permission to start over. His first goal came with a roar, a scream that said, "I'm still here." Every match after that, the noise grew louder, every performance more defiant. He wasn't just scoring goals, he was changing perception. He turned a league the world laughed at into one people couldn't stop talking about, and slowly the narrative began to change. Maybe he was right, maybe he saw something we didn't. Ronaldo had once again done what he'd done his whole life, taken doubt and turned it into dominance. But while the world focused on the money, he was already focused on something else: records. By the time most players reach their late 30s, their bodies slow down, their legs get heavy, their reaction fades, and their hunger disappears. But for Cristiano Ronaldo, it was the opposite. At an age when most are thinking about retirement, he was rebuilding himself, mentally, physically, completely. In Riyadh, away from the noise of Europe, he found silence, a silence he could fill with work. Every morning, he was the first one at the training ground. He pushed teammates, staff, even the facilities, demanding the same excellence he demanded from himself. His diet became more precise than ever, every calorie measured, every recovery session optimized. His training wasn't about vanity, it was about longevity. The result? A 40-year-old athlete with the muscle composition of someone half his age. Science couldn't explain it, critics couldn't deny it. His body didn't just survive, it adapted. He wasn't the same explosive winger that once burned defenders in Madrid. He became something new, efficient, calculated, lethal. Ronaldo had evolved into a version of himself that played smarter, not slower. While others relied on talent, he relied on obsession. While others looked for comfort, he searched for resistance. Even his teammates spoke about it, how his mentality infected everyone around him. He doesn't rest, one said. He doesn't allow himself to lose. Every match was personal, every training session, a war against time, and somehow, he kept winning. The world had expected a slow decline. Instead, it witnessed a second prime. Cristiano Ronaldo, at 40, was not aging. He was rewriting what aging meant. When people said Ronaldo was finished, they forgot who they were talking about. Because Cristiano Ronaldo has never been a story about talent. He's been a story about obsession. The obsession to outwork, outlast, and outshine every expectation that football ever placed on him. And when everyone thought the story was over, he did what only he could do. He started writing new chapters. Since arriving at Al Nassr, he hasn't just played, he's dominated. In his first full season, he became the top scorer in world football, surpassing players like Mbappe, Haaland, and Kane, all while playing thousands of miles away from Europe. 50-plus goals in a single calendar year, 950 career goals and counting. The most goals in football history by a professional player. Then came the records that cemented his immortality. With Portugal, he reached 200 international appearances, something no man in football had ever done. And not just appearances, goals. He became the highest international goal scorer in history, breaking a record that might never be touched again. And he didn't slow down. At 39, he was scoring hat tricks like it was 2013 all over again. The world laughed at the Saudi League, until Ronaldo turned it into one of football's biggest talking points. Stadiums filled up, broadcasts reached new countries, global brands started investing. Within a year, the league had become home to stars like Neymar, Benzema, Kanté, Mahrez, and Brozovic. The domino effect was undeniable. Ronaldo moved and football followed. The same media that called him finished now used his name to headline global football again, because no matter where he plays, the game still revolves around him. He's the most followed athlete on the planet, with more fans than entire clubs combined. The most goals, most matches, most longevity. Every number next to his name breaks another barrier. Every statistic defies time itself. And yet, even the numbers don't tell the full story. Because behind every record, there's still that same kid from Madeira, the one who believed that hard work could outlast everything. Critics said he was chasing relevance, but in reality, relevance was chasing him. And through sheer will, Cristiano Ronaldo turned what was supposed to be his decline into one of the most dominant final acts football has ever seen. Every goal became a message, every celebration a reminder that no matter the league, the critics, or the years, greatness doesn't fade, it multiplies. And while the world counts his records, Ronaldo keeps proving that he's counting something else, the moments that make him eternal. Numbers can define greatness, but they can't explain legacy, because Cristiano Ronaldo's story stopped being about goals a long time ago. His real impact isn't measured in statistics, it's measured in hearts, in minds, and in generations. For millions of people around the world, he became something bigger than football. He became proof that you can come from nothing and conquer everything. Proof that pain can become power. Proof that with enough hunger, even time itself can be defeated. Every training session, every celebration, every drop of sweat, it all built something that goes beyond sport. Kids in Brazil, England, Morocco, the Philippines, they all learned what discipline looks like because of him. His legacy is in every player who trains a little harder after watching him, in every fan who refuses to quit when life hits hard, because Ronaldo didn't just teach people how to win, he taught them how to never stop believing. When he moved to Al Nassr, most thought he was chasing comfort, but in reality, he was chasing a message that greatness doesn't depend on where you are, but on who you are. And even far from Europe, he continues to set the standard. His professionalism is legendary, his discipline unmatched, his hunger eternal. Coaches talk about him in locker rooms, young players quote him in interviews, fitness experts still study his body as an example of what's humanly possible. He's inspired not just athletes, but dreamers, the ones who've been told they're too old, too late, or not enough. Because Ronaldo's story is a reminder, limits are self-imposed. Every record he's broken, every criticism he's silenced, every comeback he's made, it all leads to one truth. Greatness isn't a moment, it's a lifestyle, and that's what separates him from the rest. Most legends fade when the lights go out. Ronaldo became his own light. Even at 40, he trains like a rookie chasing his first dream. He studies, he works, he sacrifices, not for applause, but because it's who he is. Players like Haaland, Mbappe, and Bellingham grew up watching him. They celebrate like him, eat like him, train like him, and they call him their example. He didn't just inspire a generation, he created one. And maybe that's why, when people talk about Ronaldo now, it's not just about goals or trophies, it's about mindset, about the idea that nothing, not age, not critics, not even time, can stop someone who refuses to stop. Because every time people said he can't, Ronaldo looked straight back at them and said, "Watch me." From Madeida's streets to Manchester's glory, from Madrid's empire to Riyadh's desert, his journey stopped being about football long ago. It became about human potential, about resilience, about what it means to never ever give up. Ronaldo didn't just play the game, he changed it. And maybe that's why, even when he's gone, football will still speak his language. Because greatness fades, but legacy echoes forever. They said he was finished, that his time was over, that greatness has an expiration date. But Cristiano Ronaldo never believed in endings. While others feared the clock, he learned to outrun it. Every season, every doubt, every criticism, he turned it all into fuel. He didn't fight age, he fought limits, and somehow he won. At 40, he's still rewriting history, still training like it's his first day, still chasing something no one else can see. Because for Ronaldo, football was never just a game, it was a way to prove that nothing is impossible. You fall, you rise, you rebuild, you keep going. That's the message he's carried since the first time he kicked a ball barefoot in Madeira. And that's the message he leaves for everyone watching him now, that limits exist only if you accept them. Cristiano Ronaldo refused to fade, he refused to slow down, he refused to stop believing, because legends don't retire, they evolve.